Good evening, good evening. I'm so happy that you are here, book club members. Karibuni sana. We are just about to start and I'm so happy to see all of us joining in. I can see Caroline from Uganda, Christine Mwaka, welcome. Mary Alambo, karibu sana. Joyce Agalo, welcome, welcome, welcome. Kindly inform your friends that we are already in the house and we are just about to start. Looking for 5 more people so that we can be warm. Meanwhile, kindly share where you are joining us from. Tell us in the chat where you are joining us from this evening, morning. I don't know where you are. Kindly inform us in the chat. I'm waiting to see where you are joining us from. Thank you so much for being here. Kindly put in the chat. Let's see where you are joining from. Where are you joining us from today? Yes, Nairobi, Wanjiku. Ruth says she's joining us from Kiambu. Christine Mwaka from Nairobi. Tapiwa from Johannesburg, South Africa. Thank you. Yes, where are you all? Where are you joining us from? It's usually nice just to say hello. Kate, you're joining us from Nairobi. Awesome. Professor Joyce from Machakos. Alionya from Machakos. Wow. Charity from Nairobi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes. Beautiful, beautiful. 2 more people. Caroline, you're not in Uganda now, you are from the hot Juba. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Mary from Bale, Vihiga. Wow, amazing. It's amazing. And Sarah, Dr. Sarah from Kiambu. Beautiful. One more person. Edith. Ish, you're joining us all the way from Embu. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And here we are, 20 of us in the house, we are warm. And Grace Ndungu joins us from the country of abundance. Wow, wow, wow. In fact, that is a country of abundance. Thank you, Grace, Dr. Grace, for joining us this morning, evening, afternoon. Great, great, great. I'm so happy that you are here because this shows your commitment as book club members, as members of the Woman of Excellence, and some of us members from Rich and Royal. It's a family. It is a community. So this is nice when we take time to be together to share. So allow me to share my, oh my goodness, where has it gone? Yes. Allow me now to share my screen for us to give it a beautiful start. Keep on sharing as you come in. Let us know. Say hello, hello, hello to us. So welcome to the Limitless Woman, today's webinar, which is about breaking barriers, igniting possibilities. And of course, this is our year of Jubilee. We are stepping into Jubilee. Yes, yes, yes. So that is our webinar this evening, based on the books that we have reading. Those who are new to us, my name is Lois Muteti. I am a leadership and transformation coach. I exist to ignite possibilities. I am an igniter. When we interact, something has to change in your life. You cannot be the same again. And that is a testimony that we are going to have this evening even as we listen to the amazing ladies who are members of the I'm Leading Book Club. And as a coach, I have got 3 pillars I work with. And the first pillar, and that's the reason we are all here, is because of leadership. Everything rises and falls because of leadership. Think of it. Everywhere in the world, wherever you are, it's about leadership, whether in the home, whether at the workplace, whether it's the economy of a country. We all talk about leadership. So here we are talking about personal leadership because we want transformational leaders, women leaders, when they lead as a mother, when they lead as a wife, when they lead at the workplace, when they lead in the boardroom, things change. Things cannot be the same again. The other pillar I work with is abundance, and I will share with you later the programs I offer, because we need to shift our mindsets, because we've been conditioned to have scarcity mindsets. Those are limiting things, as we are going to hear today. And we want to shift, a mental shift to abundance, because we serve a God who is an abundant God. The other pillar I work with is wellness. And you'll be able to listen today and realize that wellness is your greatest wealth, is your greatest wealth. So those are the things we are going to talk about in all our conversations and in all. If you interact with me, those are the 3 pillars. LAW, law. It's my law. Leadership, abundance, and wellness. And as you can see here, I'm holding 2 books, 2 different books. The first one she leads is my first book to write, to author. And it's about optimizing leadership through coaching and mentorship, just like what we are doing right now. And the other book is Ignite, Unleash Your Inner Fire. And you realize that in all these books, it's all about law, leadership, abundance, and wellness. Welcome, those who are joining us. Why are we here? We are here because we've had amazing members of the I'm Leading Book Club. And the season we have been in since January to now March is season 18. The ladies here who are going to speak to us have been part and parcel of this season 18. And the transformation has impacted them. They have moved from reading to leading, and you will be able to hear their stories. So what do we do in the book club? We read and we lead. That's why it's I Am Leading Book Club. And there's no way you can be a leader before first leading yourself. So I would like you to point 3 fingers to yourself. You lead yourself first. So that's what we practice in the book club. And I don't want to burst the bubble. They will tell you what they have been doing in the book club. So if you are ready to take charge of your personal growth and well-being, like these members of the book club, then I invite you to join our dynamic community of this kind of women that you want to surround yourself with, because you are the average of the 5 people that you interact most of the time with. And in the book club, we interact every day. Every day is an interaction, every day. And the conversations we have there shape our identity and the women that we are becoming. So the book club will offer you empowerment. You will not be the same again. you will step out as that confident she leader. You can never be stagnant because you will grow, you will expand. Because as you develop your leadership, then it is time to take up new territories. And as I said, we are a community. We are sisters. It is a sisterhood. We hold one another accountable, but we also inspire one another as you wait to be inspired today. It can never be over without your well-being, as I have said. So we prioritize your mental, your physical, your emotional health so that you become the next best version of yourself. This year, if you can remember in January, I think it was either the 2nd January or 3rd January, we set out the agenda of the year and we crowned it with a word of the year under the Blue Waters coaching programs. And this word was, this is the year of Jubilee. And we had so many words under this umbrella of Jubilee. We had expansion, taking up new territories. We had, this has been so hard for me. This year, I must have a breakthrough. That is another woman's word. Another one is, God, give me a miracle. Give me a miracle. And God answered in January. We created miracles. We learned how to create miracles in our lives. It's a year of Jubilee. It's a year of freedom. To someone else, it's freedom from all the chains that have been holding her. It's a time of victory. To another one, it is manifestation. I've been holding this picture in my mind. I've been holding it. Now it is time to manifest it. To another woman, it's a time for restoration. All that had been taken away, it is time now. It's coming back. It's a time for renewal. Her strength being renewed like that of an eagle. To another lady, it is a time to release it all, to release that bitterness, to release all those things that hold her back. To another, it is a time of rest. She has arrived. She is limitless. We are here, ladies and gentlemen, because we want to lead. We want to thrive, and we want to flourish. Our hashtag this particular season has been Ignite New Possibilities, because we want to boldly, with confidence, step into the vast possibilities that God has offered us. Now, I am born in Ukambani. Those who don't know Kambani, Kambani is actually the way you are seeing. There are no trees. Where I come from, Mutitwande, these are the trees that we see there. They survive this kind of environment where other trees can't make it. And because of that environment, this baobab tree then adapts to the environment. And when you look at it, you can see it cannot be shaken by any storm. It cannot be shaken by any drought. It stands vast. As we call it there, the tree of life. It grows where other trees wither. Amazing. This kind of a tree stores water. You can see the way it has adapted. It has a huge, wide trunk. Look at the root network. It knows how to stabilize itself. So this tree, massive as you can see it, majestically stands out. Look at the environment. Nothing else is blooming. Nothing else is growing so well and standing out. But this tree, the baobab tree, the tree of life, has its own ecosystem. It has created its own ecosystem. Look at the root network, look at the trunk, look at the branches, and look at its leaves, they are green. And to us who have no shade, this tree provides shade for us. And as you can see, it bears fruits, mabuyu. And hence, it provides nourishment. It's a whole set, a whole package. And it provides healing to those around it. Now, as we start today's webinar, our topic is Limitless Woman. And I want you now to imagine this woman who is limitless, like this baobab tree. She stands in her glory, just like the baobab tree, because she knows her worth. She's not a doormat. She knows her worth. She knows she's a daughter of a king. And she wears a crown, a royal crown that is full of diadems. She is free, this woman, this limitless woman. She's free from the chains of doubts and fears and anxieties. What if, what if, what if? But she's a woman of faith. She says, even if, even if. This woman, just like that baobab tree we have described, she's not defined by circumstances. Our identity is about the power to adapt. It's like this tree has adapted so well. This limitless woman who was broken away from her chains then has the ability and the power to expand, taking on new territories by faith. And as a result of that growth, as a result of her leadership development, she's able to nourish not only herself, but she's also bears fruits for the others, just like this tree, creating a whole ecosystem. And in her season of Jubilee, then this amazing woman is able to step into divine possibilities. Because Jubilee means a time of reset. Reset, done, turn around, renewal, reclaiming what was always yours. It was just covered under those doubts and fears and anxieties. But a limitless woman understands that possibilities are not just dreams. They are unseen doors waiting to be pushed open. That's the woman we are talking about today. What is a possibility? I keep on saying ignite new possibility. When we talk about a possibility, it is that unseen potential. Because as you are watching me this evening, you are full of potential. And that potential is waiting for action. So possibility then, as you have seen from my illustration of the baobab tree, in a very bad terrain is not the absence of obstacles. Ladies and gentlemen, it is about the audacity to see beyond those obstacles. It is like a river beneath the desert. Think of that. Hidden from the surface, but when tapped into, my friend, it gives life. Just think about that. A possibility is a shift in perspective. A possibility is the courage to move on. A possibility is the faith to ignite something new. It has always been there, but you've not been able to see it. But now when you start creating and igniting possibilities, suddenly you realize the impossible becomes possible. And I believe the ladies who are going to speak to us this evening are going to share that story, their stories of transformation with us. So as I wait now to welcome them, I want you to start seeing yourself as that limitless woman, because we are not waiting, we are limitless. So begin right now releasing those past limitations, because your past does not define you. I don't care what has happened in the past. That is the past, it is gone. It doesn't define you in any way. People come to me and tell me, oh, I did this, this happened to me, and they're stuck in the past. But today, we are stepping into divine possibilities, and we are saying, bye-bye. That past does not define you. It's a time of restoration. This is Jubilee. All those dreams that you've had before that have been lost over time, it is time now to rekindle them. Bring them up, pick them up, and open up to new possibilities. We have been giving away our power to circumstances, to challenges and obstacles along the way, to people's opinion about us. But today, it is time to reclaim your power. It is time to step into the life that you are meant to be. So in short, just like I said, this is about breaking barriers. And in the conversation this evening, throughout the conversation, you will uncover the mindset shifts that you need to move beyond the limitations. So breaking barriers, over. It's about learning how to fuel motivation, and these ladies are going to talk about that, and create unstoppable momentum as you ignite new possibilities. And definitely, it is time to step into your greatness as you embrace freedom, renewal, as you've talked about, and the limitless power of your mind. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that within you lies a force as powerful as that mighty baobab tree? That tree that grows where others wither, that stores its own water in times of drought, and that provides life even in the harshest conditions. And just like the baobab tree, ladies and gentlemen, you are never, never meant to shrink. You are actually meant to expand, to thrive, and to transform the space around you. And you know what? The only thing that can limit you is the belief that you have. That's what limits you. It is time, because those possibilities are not outside of you. The possibilities we've talked about, they are already within you. And one way that God has made sure that you can ignite new possibilities is because he has given you a brain free of charge, a brain free of charge. So my question today is, how are you using it to ignite possibilities for you? How are you using your brain? It is free. And you know, many times when we are given free things, we don't take care of them. But today, we are going to learn that God has already equipped us with all the resources that we need. And we have a brain. And that shall be the center of our conversations. We have a brain, and we can actually use that brain to ignite new possibilities for ourselves. Our first speaker is Dr. Sarah Waititi. This is what she wrote about herself, that she is a higher education practitioner. So she's not a medical doctor, PhD, with a passion for education. Dr. Sarah has a passion for education and transforming the youth through training and mentorship. She tells me that she is a mother of 3 wonderful children and a wife, a loving wife to that matter. She says, our experience in the book club since season 9, Dr. Sarah Waititi, has literally transformed her into the person that she has become. And then she goes and says, the unlimited me. Dr. Sarah Waititi, take it away. Karibu Sada. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Coach. Just to confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. I would like to ask to be allowed to share. Can you allow me to share?
Yes, yes. There you are.
Okay, just a minute. Let me share my screen. Hello.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to say that you can see my screen and you can hear me so I can start.
Yes, now put it under the slideshow from beginning.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to do.
All right.
Fine. So good
Yes.
evening, everybody. Good evening, Coach. And thank you for that introduction. I'm glad to be here this evening. And I just want to take the members who are listening. I can see we're quite a number of us in this particular webinar. When Coach called me, or rather didn't call me, she wrote me a text about a few weeks ago and told me that, you know, I'm inviting you to be a speaker as a team leader of the Unlimited Divas. And Coach, if you remember what I told you, I said, oh my goodness, I am doing so badly on this one. And then I told you I'm really behind, because at the time I was behind with the reading schedule. I don't remember what chapter I was in. I was trying to catch up. And so I really said, I'm behind. How can I even be the one to share? And then she smiled. She sent those emojis of, and then I asked, oh, is this another limiting belief? And looking back, I think it was another limiting belief. And so I dropped the limiting belief and I agreed to share my takeaways from chapter 1 to 4 as the person that was leading the group on the Unlimited Divas. And that is how I happen to be here this evening. So having said that, I think this book is very powerful indeed. It's called Limitless by Jim Kwik, like Coach has explained. And I know that not everybody has read the book that is probably in this call. And so I'll probably be sharing some of the things that Jim Kwik says in this particular book. Now, let me share my takeaways, starting with who he is, the person of Jim Kwik himself. Coach, I don't know how much time I have, so please stop me if I go on and on, because I could probably go and get carried away and go on and on. So Jim
Leave
Kwik,
some 10 to 15 minutes will be good.
all right, fine. I'll try and squeeze myself within that time. So Jim Kwik is the author of this book. Starts off the book with a story of himself. When he was in school, primary school or elementary school, as he would call it, he was a short boy. And when I'm comparing this, I'm saying Jim Kwik versus the Unlimited me. I want to see myself, and anybody that knows me knows I'm actually short. I'm not very tall. Coach, you know that I am a short woman. And so I actually put myself side by side with Jim Kwik when he talks about, being short. And we know what happened is that if you've read the book, is that he goes, there's something happening outside the window and all the kids are running to the windows to go and see the firefighters that were putting off a fire or doing some training. I forget exactly what. And, while he was there trying to peep through the window, a naughty boy pulled out the chair from below his feet and he hit his head against the radiator of the window. I think some metal, and that is how he actually got his brain, damaged. Now, so I looked at Jim Kwik being a short man and I said, Sarah, you're also a short woman. So I looked at myself growing up through school and going through school as a short lady and some of the challenges that we go through as short, and I'll give you my story. When I went through school, I went second to boarding school when I was very, very young. I was actually in class 3, so I was about 8 years old when I went to boarding school. And I was so tiny, I was so small that I was actually referred to as mtoto wa sister because it was a nun school. Those who have heard this story before, please forgive me. And so I went through school being treated like a special child of the nuns, because I was really small. And, I don't know at what point this started getting into my head, but I went through school and of course I passed and went to university. But at the university where we started now, trying to discover who we are. You're 18, 19, and you're finding out who you are and trying to find your place in the world. At this point, I remember that I really became conscious of my height. I was so conscious that I was short. And as if to make this worse, my best friend at the university was a tall lady called Nancy. So we used to walk together, me and Nancy, and everybody was telling about the short lady who walked with the tall girl, So my university life, and I can tell you without lying that really every time, for me, sorry, I think let me just go back to that I used to pray to God that I would wake up one day and find myself tall. I don't know if anybody has ever prayed to get tall, but for sure I used to pray to become tall because I was looking at everybody else is tall. When we went to the mess, the dining hall, I was being squeezed between people trying to reach out for food. We were fighting for chapati, chicken. Those who went to school during my time of boom were being given free food. And so we were queuing and I was so short and I was getting lost in between the crowds. So this somehow got ingrained in me. I really was thinking, I wish I could be taller than this. In fact, there was one very tall guy in our class who, not in our class, but within the university, who I was always asking God, why didn't you just do an average of me and that guy and so that we are both tall? He's neither too tall, neither am I too short. So that being said, then going through university life, my first job at the university, I was employed as a tutorial fellow at the age of 27. And at that age, I remember that my first class was in a room, a hall with about 458 students. Remember, I am a short woman trying to wear heels, and I'm not very used to this. Is my first class. And so I go into this class, and before they were everywhere, some were actually peeping through the windows, and I find there's nowhere to even place my book. I was literally shaking. And I was asking myself, how do I even teach? Remember, I'm short. So that is part of me is telling me I am a short woman. When I went into this class and the students were asking, who are you? Who are you trying to intimidate me with their voices? And I asked them, is that meant for me? And they said, yes, we're asking you who you are. And I asked them, don't worry, you'll find out who I am in a few. And then I asked them, hello. They said, hello. I asked them, can you hear me? Can you see me? They said, no, we can't see you. Remember, I was at the same height with those who were seated because of my height. And then I asked them, can you hear me? And they said, yes, we can hear you. And I told them, don't worry. My voice is taller than me. So when I was reading Jim Kwik's story, and I looked at myself growing up and going through my first job, I said, I think that was for me the moment when I actually said, I have been thinking that I am a short woman, but this is the moment where I have got to prove that I can actually be a university lecturer. I taught for 2 hours. And after the class, students came after me telling me, oh, madam, that was a very good class. Oh, that was very interactive. It was such an interactive class, despite my short or my height. So from that date to date, and that's why I'm calling myself the unlimited me today. It started that day. That height was never going to be for me a limitation to get anywhere that I wanted to go. And up to today, it has never bothered me again in my life that I am a short person. So having said that, looking at the story of Jim Kwik, I'm coming to what he talks about, and I'll pick a few areas just to share with those, especially maybe you've not read the book, my thinking. Now, he was labeled the boy with a broken brain after that accident that he had, in the same way that maybe you and I are labeled in a particular way by yourself or by society, So I'm talking about the labels that we carry. What label have we put on ourselves or on someone else? Because those labels, more or less, as Jim says, create a limit. The label becomes the limitation that we put on ourselves, in whatever area we find ourselves in. So I'm looking at the issue that Jim talks about. I'm trying to remove this so that I can see my slides properly. When he talks about that label, he carried it, and you remember the stories that he gives in that book, how he carried that label of the boy with the broken brain, and asking myself, what labels are we putting on ourselves? What labels are we also putting on other people? Because our words become internalized. If you're an adult, your external words become a child's internal words. And for Jim, we know that it became a label throughout most of his life, but it actually turned to what he's now in this book, who he now is today, came from that, because he was able to undo that limiting belief or that label that was placed on him, and he became the limitless person that he is. So really, we should be careful not to shatter other people's dreams with our words, and especially ourselves, not to limit ourselves by what we tell ourselves. And so that takes us to the issue of unlimiting. And the definition given here is that it is the act or process of casting aside our inaccurate and restrictive perceptions of our potential. That is how to unlimit ourselves. You must cast aside that restrictive perception you have of yourself, of your potential, what you're capable of doing. You have to unlimit yourself and embrace the reality that with the right mindset, the right motivation, and the right methods, then there are no limitations. You can do anything you set yourself to do if you unlimit yourself, if you remove the limiting beliefs that we're talking about here. So really, looking at that book, and as I read it, I asked myself, how often do we allow ourselves to be defined by our perceived restrictions? Someone said something about me yesterday, so I carry that with me, and then I'm not able to do anything because someone said, oh, you're a slow learner, or look, you can never lose weight. Or this one is like, how do we allow ourselves to be defined by these restrictions that we put on ourselves, that people put on us? And we are being told here that we have got to overcome this and unlearn these limitations so that we can become limitless. I know that in the book club, which I said I have been in since season 9, one of the fights that we always have with Coach Lois is the 5 a.m. waking up. some of us have believed that, oh, me, I'm not an early person. I can never wake up early. So you've already told yourself, you've already restricted yourself that, me, I can't even make up. I'm a poor reader. How can I even read a book in 1 month? How can she even imagine that I'm going to read 3 books now? So because we've already told ourselves, we've already limited ourselves that we can't. So we have got to unlearn. And anybody that listened to my very, very first presentation when I was, I think, in season 11 or thereabouts, I talked about my movement from the things I thought I could never do to the things I am now able to do, including that waking up at 5 a.m. to read and do exercises, including taking, black sugarless coffee if that's what you need to take, including, all these things that you have got to unlearn and tell yourself, some of us say, ati chai ya saa nne mimi lazima ikuwe na maziwa, you can't see yourself doing others, but it is not right for you. So talking about unlimiting, therefore, he says that being limitless is not even about being perfect. I am not perfect. Coach Lois is not perfect today, but it's about progressing beyond what you currently believe is possible to another level. So the question we're asking ourselves is, which limitations do we need to unlearn to be able to move to that limitless state where we're saying we are a limitless person? So I have to do away with which limitations? Only you know the limitations you've put on yourself. Is it that, oh, I can never lose weight? Okay, I've really tried, I can't. So in your head already, you can't. You started off with a limiting belief. Oh, saving up to, I don't know how much I'm supposed at $1 million. How now? From which salary? You've already put a limiting belief on yourself. So we are being told that we need to unlearn these things. And for me, for example, I can tell you for sure that this is something I've been practicing. From that season 9, I went into the She Leader program with Coach Lois. Then I went to the abundant woman, the Royal Abundant Woman, where you are forced to save. You see people saving, you're like, hey, today they've saved 20K. How can I even save 20K? But the minute I started that, they started the habit. I unlearned that limitation. I can tell you today that I'm not where I was when I started. And being limitless, really, Jim Kwik is telling us that you have everybody, you and I have the current reality, where we are today versus where we want to see ourselves. He says that gap between where we are and where we want to see ourselves is actually a limit. That is the limit that we have put on ourselves. And the limit can be either in our mindset or in our motivation or in the methods we are using to move from our current state to the desired state. So where are you right now? Are you that person who, whatever Coach Lois says, you wake up at 7? What is your desired reality? That is where you want to move to. So why are you not there? It is a limit that you have put in your mindset, in your motivation. It is a limit that you have put on yourself or the method you're using. You've been trying to lose you've been trying to lose weight for a very long time, but you're still there. Your current state, there's a limit you've put in yourself that hata nikifanya nini, haiendi, haisongi. Right? So we're being told that when you do what others won't do, actually you can live how others cannot live, because it's about undoing the limitations. And just to go through very quickly the limitless model that Jim gives us, that the what is the mindset. What are you entertaining? What kind of beliefs are you entertaining in your mind about your capabilities, about what you deserve, about what is possible for you? That's the mindset that you're in. If you say, for me, I'm not an early person, I would rather do exercise in the evening, then of course that's the mindset. If you say I am a poor, like I personally am, I tell everybody I'm poor with directions. So I will never be right. I'll never get it right because it's a mindset. But the minute I unlimit that and do away with that limitation, then of course possibilities open for me. The motivation. What is your why? Why are you not able to wake up in the morning at 5 o'clock? Maybe your why is not strong enough, because that means that you're lacking the drive or the purpose or energy to take action. That is the motivation, your why. Because your purpose of taking action, they say that is your power. The power is in your the motivation is your power to do what you need to do. Personally, if I'm in my 50s, like I am, and many of us probably are, and I know that to be healthy is important, especially after 50, you need to wake up. That is my why. So whatever I feel, I have to get up. I have to wake up and take my 4 kilometers or 5 kilometers walk, because I know that I must. It's my motivation. It's my why. I want to be healthy. But how do I do it? That's also another limitation. If you're using the tools and techniques that will not propel you forward, you've been doing the same thing over and over again. You're not changing your methods. You tried nutritions that are not working. So you're in the same, you're doing the same thing over and over again and expecting to get, different results. Then again, you're being told that the limitation is in your methods. So what Jim Kwik is actually telling us here is that if you look at all your areas of growth, why you would want to be limitless in your career, you've been working at the same job for years and you're saying, hey, me, I think I was just born to be a secretary. You've already put a limitation on yourself. You can't do anything. Okay. On your health, I've already talked about health. You're hypertensive, you have probably another condition, ailment, and you're telling yourself this one. It's like as you're aging, obviously you start getting diabetes. Obviously you get this. You've already limited yourself. You can't even when you work out, it's not going to help because you've already limited yourself. So the limitless ability can be in all our areas, in our relationships, in our personal growth, in terms of your financial growth. The things that Coach Lois has told us in the introduction are very, very important. Academics. Who says it's too old to go back to get a degree at the age of 50? Who says it is? It is your mind that is telling you that you can't go back to school. But if you remove that limitation, you sure can go back to school and earn yourself a degree. So these are the things that I found very, very powerful in that particular chapter. And very quickly, the others, I think I'll just highlight these ones, Coach, if you allow me, on how are we limiting ourselves even further with technology? And if there are any Gen Zs in the house, I think it'll be very interesting for us to see how technology is actually limiting us and limiting our brain power by relying on technology. I'm calling it the double-edged sword, that it has its good and its bad, the positive and the negative. So how are we using it ourselves? How many of us can stay one day without WhatsApp? How many ukisahau simu siku moja kwa nyumba, you cannot even function that day. We are so reliant on technology. What is it doing to us? And Jim Kwik says actually that if you want to be limitless, you need to reach a point where you're saying, now this for me is a white space in my calendar. I'm not going to touch any phone. I have to clear my mind of all these distractions. And he talks about 5 things, 5 villains, just to take you very, very quickly through those 5 villains that he talks about. Digital distraction. Simu iko hapa kwa meza, even now I have mine here. The minute it beeps, your eyes are there. There's a message that has come. You want to see the message. You're even in a meeting. Your phone beeps, you want to see what message has come in. It is digital distraction. What is that doing to our brains? What is that doing to our relationships? How are we even focusing? How is our productivity being affected? So it is already limiting us because we are relying so much on technology. So we cannot even find connections with our families and friends. We can't stay focused at work. You leave the office feeling so exhausted because you've been multitasking. Reading a message while you're still typing, looking there while you're still doing something else. So that multitasking, he says, is actually draining our brain power. It is depleting our nutrients so that our cognitive and physical performance is being compromised. And that is already in itself a limitation. If you think about it, and when you read the book, then you're saying, what can I do differently? Because I want to move away from this. And dementia is even worse. Digital dementia. We hear about our parents going through dementia. I shudder to think what will happen to our generation with regard to dementia, because our parents were even better. They were thinking. We have allowed technology to just take over our thinking capacity. We are overusing it. So our cognitive abilities are being broken. Our short-term memory. When was the last time you memorized even a phone number? We cut and paste. M-Pesa, cut and paste. Directions, GPS, Google Maps. We don't even think anymore. And this is also affecting our long-term memory. So we are limiting ourselves in that way. And I think, Coach, is a very important area, which for me, I ask myself then, what can I do to avoid having these digital villains affect my growth, affect my development as a person? I need to force myself, for example, if I need to recall something, I stop relying on these external sources so that I can strengthen my memory, my ability to learn, my ability to think critically, solve problems. You've gone to hospital, look at deduction. You've gone to hospitals and a young nurse starts to, as you're telling them you're having a headache, you're feeling fever, they're typing. What do you think they're typing? Sometimes they're even typing on ChatGPT to find out what is wrong with you so they know what to give you. So we are allowing technology to even deduce for us, to solve problems for us. So we are ceding that ability to solve problems to technology. And that way, I think even our ability to think critically has become weakened. And this is what Jim Kwik is saying. For you to be limitless, you've got to avoid over-reliance on technology. And I think many of us are actually are victims of this. When I go to bed, a lot of times we want to try and catch up with WhatsApp. That's what I do. The last 1 hour before I sleep, I'm with my WhatsApp. Then you find yourself on Facebook, IG, Twitter. And before you know it, it is 1 o'clock. What is that doing to us in terms of limiting our ability. And the final one is the digital depression, which I think Gen Zs and ourselves, a lot of us are getting into. You get into technology, into your social media page, and you see your friend getting a degree, ametuma kwa LinkedIn. So someone else, oh, they've got engaged. And what you start feeling like, am I good enough? Why am I missing out? Look at them, the way they have, social media lies to you that the world is better than you are. So if that gets into your head, this is a limit already. You start a self-talk that is reinforcing a limiting belief that I'm not good enough. You know, even me, I'm already 13, I've never gotten a degree. I'm 50, I'm still in the same job. This one has been promoted because we're allowing social media again to feed us with so much. So we get into what they call digital depression. And I think our young ones are even at a worse, you know, they're in a worse state. Look at my daughter. My daughter the other day told me, you know what, Mom? I've gotten out of social media, at least for a month. I'm not doing Instagram, I'm not doing Twitter, I'm not doing WhatsApp. And I say, wow, because I want to see how I can work without them. So it's possible. And I think this is what we're being to do, that instead of outsourcing our brains to our smart devices, which is leading to our mental muscles being so lazy, you think you can't even think clearly. We need to make a conscious choice, that we make a conscious choice to use social media so it doesn't hijack our productivity and peace of mind. We need to break these limiting habits, these habits that are relying on social media. We just like when you have a choice to go upstairs or use a lift. You know, when you use a lift, you're weakening your muscles, the body muscles. That's the analogy that Jim is using. So when you use technology, you're weakening the brain power, the muscles of your brain. And this is what he talks about. We should make a conscious choice not to do that. And like Coach has said, our brain is limitless. This is the good news, that actually, if we change the way, we can change the way our brain functions by making different choices, what we eat, how we exercise, we can actually do that because our life is not fixed. We can be whatever we choose to be by rewiring our brain. Now, going away from there, I think I'll skip this, Coach, because it's about how we can improve our learning. We've been told how we can do it faster by Jim. I will not go into that, but basically it's how do we strengthen our brain by making sure we are retaining what we are reading using the Pomodoro technique. This probably will be shared with the members so that we are able to see. He talks about the faster method, you know, how we can retain more of what we are reading. Now, I want to go straight to this second last or third last slide about choosing wisely, because I feel that what I have personally been able to do since I joined the book club, I did the She Leader program with Coach Lois. I did Reposition with her, and all these other programs that I've been, it's about the choices we make. It's about choosing wisely. And Jim Kwik says that life is the C between B and D, where C is choice and B is the date of birth and D is the date of death. Now, the choices we make in between, that's the life we live. That the life we live is the choices we make between our birth and our death. And to be limitless is a choice. It is entirely in our hands. It is a choice we decide today, I'm going to remove all the limiting beliefs. And we can live a life without these barriers. It's not like it's very easy, but we practice, we commit, we resolve, and start doing it. When I joined the book club, there were so many things I do today that I wasn't doing then. You know, anybody told me to wake up at 5, I would have said this is a joke. I used to wake up at 7, to be honest. And I would still make it to the office by 8:30. But today, Coach knows. Accountability, you have to say, what time did you wake up? You don't lie because, again, we're people of integrity. You have to say whether you exercise. You have to say whether you took water. Some of us don't even take water until we are thirsty. But the book club forces you to do some of these things. So the choices we are making are the reasons why we find ourselves where we are. And for me, in this particular book, being limitless is a choice. And so my takeaways are 3. That being limitless really is a choice. It depends on me. I have got to look at what is limiting my growth. What is limiting my ability to become a better person tomorrow? Is it what I've told myself in my mind? Is it because I am not motivated enough? Is it because I'm trying the same old method? Can I try something different? Is it because I'm not open-minded? You know, he tells us to learn with an open mind because the mind is like a parachute. He says it works best when it's open. You know, if you close it, you can't learn. So we open ourselves to new possibilities and learn new things. And a limitless mindset driven by limitless motivation, I believe, will get me anywhere I want to go. And that's the spirit I go with from this book, that I must have a limitless mindset and a motivation that drives me, gives me energy to do to go from level 1 to the next level. And finally, it's not about being perfect, like I said earlier. It's about being a better version of myself today than I was yesterday. Once in a while, I'll sleep a day. I'll not wake up at 5. Maybe I wake up at 6. I'm not going to kill myself because of that. It's not about being perfect. It's about trying to be better every day. You lapse today, you move on tomorrow. So you're going to be having those lapses. So it's about progressive improvement, trying to be a better person every day, trying to unlimit yourself every day to become a limitless person. And so for me to become the unlimited me that I am saying I am and I want to remain, then of course I'm asking you, my listener today, I am ready to be limitless. I'll try all the things that I'll be told to try to be limitless. And I'm ready. Coach Lois, through this book club and these programs, is giving us the keys to be limitless. So, but it depends on us. Are you ready to be limitless? Thank you very much, Coach. Back to you.
Wow, wow, wow. Kindly celebrate Sarah there. Hey, she is an unlimited diva. Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Sarah, for that amazing, amazing presentation. You've summarized chapter 1 to 4 very, very well. And I was just remembering how we were being challenged to remember the next telephone number, the number. And I realized I don't even know a number offhand of my house girl because it's just there. If I just left myself and I was like, what? How come? And this is a number I call every day and I can't remember. Wow, so powerful. Thank you for celebrating Dr. Sarah. You may stop sharing, Dr.
Okay, let me stop.
Yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Celebrate Dr. Sarah. That was amazing. And thank you for the beautiful reminders. And Dr. Sarah has invested in her personal growth. I actually never thought you've done, I didn't remember you've done Unleashed until you said it. Then I remembered, yes, this is an Unleashed she leader. She's also in Rich and Royal. Oh, amazing, amazing. Thank you. Moving very quickly, you can see our time goes so fast. Now we have our beautiful Emma. Let me introduce her. Sorry. Yes, we have our beautiful Neema Njoroge. She is a limitless igniter. Oh, amazing. And she is here to win it all. That's what she says. She is a teacher and a life coach who works with children and adults to improve the quality of their lives. Neema tells me she's a mom, a wife who is enjoying, she's not in bitterness, she's enjoying life with her family. And she has been inspired by so many ladies in this community since she joined us in 2022. And we are in 2025, amazing. And she tells me that her life has never been the same again. Wow. She says, I am breaking limiting barriers and enjoying life. Welcome on board, Neema Njoroge. Karibu sana.
Thank you, Coach Lois, for such an amazing introduction. Wow, Dr. Sarah has said it all. I don't know how to come back from such a powerful presentation, but I'm gonna try my best. So allow me to share my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen, Neema. Go back. Yeah.
Is it on the correct slide, the first one?
Yes, the Limitless Woman.
All right. It's always a great pleasure to be among women who are breaking barriers and living out their dreams, following from our amazing Coach Lois, who is very, very inspiring. And just to introduce myself a bit, I'm a girl with big dreams and ambitions, yet I enjoy my current life, and I'm grateful for the abundance that I have been privileged to have. The abundance that I have 4 champions, among them my husband and 3 little bundles of joy who are under 10, but they're literally going on 18. That's how fast they grow. And that's a picture of them enjoying themselves there. And so my story begins almost 5 years ago, where I was experiencing something really difficult. I didn't understand what to do with myself. And in short words, I would term that I was having an identity crisis. I was questioning a lot of things in my life, the friendships that I had, experiencing low esteem, my career choices, and all of that. And I'm sure some of you might know what that feels like. I was wondering which direction I should go. Maybe my friends are telling me, you do this. Your parents think you should do this. Yourself, you think, Or sometimes you feel like you're not feeling, the spark of motivation anymore. And if you can resonate with this, just nod your head, because I'm sure most of you can. And so what happened next? Life opened a door that I never expected, which was the I Am Leading Book Club, which was introduced to me by my good friend Ruth, who is in the room. Hi, Ruth. And during that time, I was able to break a lot of barriers for myself. As Dr. Sarah said, there are a lot of limiting beliefs in your head. And one of them for me was exercising. Before then, I had not, exercised before, other than the casual running, and walking that we normally do. But when I started the book club, I started exercising consistently. And the other thing I also started to do was to meditate. And I started meditating a lot. And I really enjoyed how I was feeling after the meditation. I felt a bit more relaxed. And I found myself more present with my family. And my buttons were being pushed less by my children, which was really enjoyable for me. I also got a new job. A lot of things really clicked for me during that period. So I highly recommend, if you're somewhere you feel stuck, you feel like, what do I do next? Just join a group of women who are focused on, growing themselves, doing so many things in their lives, and you will see a big change that's going to come to you just by associating with them and doing some of the things that they do. And one of the things that I experienced during that time is to find balance. And that's something that Coach Lois really talks about and insists on, that balance is very important. You've met those people who maybe are rich and rude, or they have no manners. That's what I'm talking about. I'm sure you've met them. So being able to find the balance and making sure that different areas of your life are working well is a really beautiful, fulfilling thing in your life. And up until I joined the book club, I only had this book you can see at the corner there. It's a book I'd picked up from my dad's house before I left for college. And that's all I had for a book. And before then, I had only read books which had pictures, those primary school books which had only 2 sentences. Yeah, that was me. And other than that, I only read a Bible which didn't have, the pictures. But after that, you can see I have so many books in my library currently. And some of the books are missing here because some of them we read online, and maybe somebody has borrowed some of my book. So you can see the difference that you actually get to experience when you're part of the book club and you're among women who are amazing. I always love the selection of books that Coach Lois usually picks up. Among them was the book by Washeke of Centonomy, if you've heard of her, and our very own Coach Lois, and the book that we are currently reading in the book club, and we are super excited and inspired by your work. And so I'm gonna go a little bit through the Limitless book, which Dr. Sarah has gone into good detail. I'm sure at this point you guys know what the book is about. And even if you haven't read it, you will get a lot, but you must go and read for yourself. It's truly a life-changing book. It's about reading, learning, creating, and maintaining the learning by using the information. The author Jim Kwik talks about how you can make sure that you can maintain something in your life. For example, if you decided you want to start exercising, you might exercise today, and then tomorrow you're like, I feel so tired. I'm not sure I want to exercise again. You might skip. And then the other day you're like, let me skip. He insists on you trying to be consistent. Even if you're going to only do 5 minutes a day, that's good enough. The goal is just to be consistent, because by doing that, you're able to build up that discipline. If you look at like coma patients, quite often they forget how to talk, to walk, to do basic things which they already used to do. Why is that? It is because the body has already forgotten how to do these things, because, of course, a coma patient is just lying down on the bed, they do nothing. So that's how they tend to forget. And that's why it's very important to try and do these things and be consistent. And the main concept in this book that I gathered was about neuroplasticity, which I have said before. It's about the neural connections in your brain. And when you learn something new, a new connection is made in your brain. So as the more you work on that kind of information, your brain continues to cement. It's just like a road. Let's say, for example, I'm trying to come from here to there. I'll walk today. Somebody might not know, somebody can pass there. But if I pass there for a month, you'll start seeing a small path forming. And then after a while, so many people start passing there, it becomes a road and eventually a highway. And that's the same thing about how our brains work. So it's important for us to make sure that we have a good brain diet and a good fruit, or some of the things that you can eat for your brain is avocado, blueberries, and even dark chocolate. It's not only the boring things. And they say that all these vitamins, they improve on memory, especially for women. And for a lot of us as women, we know a lot of the things that we do, a lot of the, the multitasking that we do, these would really boost us. The other thing is to manage your stress. And he talks about doing a lot of deep breathing and meditation, which is usually very helpful. The other thing is about reading and moving, exercise. Says 10 minutes of exercise makes such a big difference. And on to the next slide. These are a few journaling and affirmation points where I think could be helpful to anyone who is trying to improve their lives. One of the points that we read in the book is that I'm a superhero and I don't give in to my limiting beliefs. As Dr. Sarah talked about the many limiting beliefs that we have, saying I'm not a morning person. In fact, I was one. Dr. Sarah, I don't know if you knew, I used to exercise in the evening. I was like, hey, me, I'm not waking up in the morning to exercise. I feel tired the whole day. But I started doing a very short exercise, 5 minutes, and then I went to 10 minutes, and now I'm able to exercise continuously from Monday to Friday in the morning, which has been a game changer for me. And the other question, how do we change and shape our minds to achieve our goals? You change your minds and shape your minds to achieve your goals by, doing the same thing, which is ultimately going to help you to move closer to your goals. Pay attention to the things that you say to yourself. Dr. Sarah has gone into detail in that. And ask yourself, how am I unleashing my genius every day? And also, it's very important to find people who show you what's possible. And that's why a lot of us are in this book club. Because if you sit there with your limiting beliefs, you're not going to move. But if you're among women who are daring to challenge their lives, daring to challenge everything they've been brought up with and the challenges they have gone through, but to say, you know what, I can try. Even if I don't know I'll make it, but I'll try. That's why we're here. And I have these 3 simple steps that you can keep in mind for you to be able to move your life forward. Create a success environment. Just find something, 5 minutes, just something to do for 5 minutes so that you can say, I'm sure if I do this, I'm gonna move forward. I'm sure if I read for 5 minutes one day, tomorrow, and a week I have been reading for 5 minutes, see how your life will go. And then create a positive peer group. You can be part of any group you want to. If you want to be part of gossipers, it's fine. But if you are able to be in part of a positive peer group, you will move, you will go places. In fact, it reminds me that my house help challenged me to start saving, because with the salary she had, less than 20,000, she was able to build a house for herself. She bought the land and she was building. She's schooling her children. And I'm like, hey, and me, what do I do with the money I have? I started saving. And within a year and about 4 months, I was able to have a total of 400,000 in my account. That is something like, what? Where did that money come from? And now with that inspiration, I talked to a few of my friends, and now we have a group where we save every day. We try every week or every month, depending on how you are, to do the saving. That's how you get moving your life forward, by having a positive peer group. And lastly, keep learning. Do not forget, try and learn something every single day. Just a little bit about what I do. I'm a transformation therapist and coach. I'm transitioning from teaching into coaching, which I mainly work with people to break through physical and mental and emotional barriers. We have an amazing community, so if you want to join us, where we are trying to unleash our superheroes every day. Today akiamua hata amka, kesho tunamngojea, you know, and looking in the mirror every single day and loving the superhero that you see in the mirror, hopefully without breaking the mirror, and reclaiming our purpose every day. And now I want to call on you so that we can work together and become limitless. And I have a challenge for you that you should schedule 5 minutes to do something that you love every day. Be it exercising, be it reading, whatever you want to do. And let us know how it goes. And in the end, to say thank you and to remind you that something amazing always happens when you change your mindset. Thank you.
Wow, 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 wow. Amazing, amazing, amazing. That was beautiful, Neema, presenting to us her takeaways from the book Limitless. And I love the way you've just summarized it and the way you're just speaking so softly. But yet inaingia, you know, it's so really so powerful. Oh, goodness. Thank you so much, Neema. Thank you for igniting us this evening. Thank you for being vulnerable to share your stories with us, because it is those stories that cause a transformation. Thank you so much. Kindly celebrate her
Thank
in the
you.
chat box. Asanteni sana. Wow. We are still moving on. Stay on there, because right now we have another beautiful speaker, and our name is Ruth. Ruth is a dedicated teacher and a happily married mother of 2 young adults. Her passion lies in education, particularly in curriculum studies, diversity in education, and early childhood development. Ruth is pursuing a PhD in global education, and she's eager to advance her career. Ruth has been with us for so many seasons, and she says, as a long-term member of the Leading Book Club, she can confidently say that the books she has read has had a profound impact on her mindset, her heart set, her health set, and her soul set. She says, I truly enjoy being part of the book club, as the wonderful members help keep me accountable. Ruth Kituko, take it away. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Coach Lois, for that introduction. I'm excited to be here. I'm going to try and share my screen. So tell me if you can see it.
Yes, you can see now. Go to slideshow.
Sorry?
Slideshow, project it on slideshow.
Okay, let me project it. You can see it now?
Yes.
Okay, lovely. So hello, everyone. As Coach Lois has said, 1 minute. Let me close this window. Yes, so hello, everyone. I'm Ruth Kichuku, as Coach Lois has introduced me. And I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much to Sarah and Neema for taking us through chapters 1 up to 8. I really enjoyed it. So I shall be taking you through a brief and a quick summary of chapters 9 to 12 of the Limitless book by Jim Kwik. And at the end of it, I'm going to share my own personal story and how I have actually applied the book in my life. So the 4 chapters that I'm going to be covering are chapter 9 up to 12. And they are actually divided into 4 themes, which I will endeavor to present to you this evening with quick tips on applying each theme to your lives. So thank you once again for joining. It's good to be with all of you here. Right, so in chapter 9, I'm going to start with chapter 9. So Jim Kwik talks about limitless motivation. So he examines how to cultivate motivation through three key elements. So these are purpose, there's passion, and progress. So he emphasizes the importance of having a clear sense of purpose to drive your goals, pursuing activities that ignite your passion, to maintain motivation, and recognizing small wins to reinforce your progress. He also offers practical strategies for enhancing motivation, such as creating a supportive environment and using visualization techniques. So overall, chapter 9 serves as a guide for harnessing motivation to achieve personal goals effectively. So just like the other ladies, I'm just going through the chapters because maybe not everyone has managed to read all of them. So please bear with me. I'm going to be quick and yes, brief. Now, how can you apply that chapter in your life? So think about purpose and passion in your life. So start your day by aligning your tasks with your passions, identify your long-term goals, and break them down into smaller, manageable steps. Now, how about a daily motivation routine? So create a routine that includes motivational practices like reading inspirational quotes. You can be journaling, like Nema has mentioned, or just visualizing your goals, because when you visualize them, they actually become real. It enhances your reality. Now, moving on to chapter 10, titled Limitless Methods. So in this chapter, Jim Kwik presents techniques that can enhance your learning and cognitive performance. So he asserts that anyone can improve their learning abilities by using effective methods. Now, the key points that he mentions are your learning techniques. So he mentions methods such as the Feynman technique, which is about teaching concepts to deepen your understanding, and mind mapping, and also, aspects of visualization. He also talks about memory enhancement, where you can use techniques such as using mnemonics. So this is where you use like an acronym to help you remember stuff. You can visualize your dreams or things that you want to achieve. And you can also use a memory palace, which actually aids you in recalling what you need to remember. Now, he also talks about speed reading. So for those of you who could be students, or maybe they are in the profession where they have to be reading stuff, speed reading is very, very important. So Kwik offers speed reading strategies to help readers process information faster while maintaining comprehension, including tips to reduce sub-vocalization. This just simply means that internal speech that someone makes to themselves when they are reading. So overall, in chapter 10, Jim Kwik provides actionable methods to improve learning efficiency, your memory retention, and cognitive abilities, helping individuals to be able to reach their full potential. Now, in chapter 10, he talks about visualization and mind mapping. So I'm going to talk about how to apply chapter 10 in your life. So you can use an aspect called active recall and spaced repetition. So use these techniques for studying or learning new skills. For example, after you read a book or a chapter book, close it. You can recall the key points without looking. And also you can do visualization, whereby before you start a task, take a moment to visualize yourself completing it successfully. This can actually help to improve your focus and your confidence. Now, moving on to chapter 11. So Jim Kwik emphasizes the importance of enhancing reading skills for improved comprehension and retention, viewing reading as essential for continuous learning and personal growth. So the key points in this chapter are actually having a reading mindset. So readers should approach reading as an opportunity for growth instead of a chore. Now, he also talks about speed reading techniques, like I mentioned before. So he introduces methods to help you read faster, such as reducing sub-vocalization, using hand movements to guide the eyes, and practicing skimming and scanning. He also gives us comprehension strategies, where he stresses that speed should not compromise understanding. He recommends techniques such as previewing the material, asking questions beforehand, and even just summarizing the key points. He emphasizes about a reading environment, whereby you ensure that before you can read, have a distraction-free environment, which is crucial for maximizing focus and and retention. He encourages for us to have lifelong learning. So he encourages making reading a daily habit, like we do in the book club, and exploring diverse genres to be able to expand our knowledge. So I've been in the book club for quite a while, and for sure, these books have just been life-changing. So because even if I don't read like a whole chapter every day, but just those little pages I read make all the difference. Now, how do you apply chapter 11 in your life? So you can practically apply limitless reading in the following ways. So by speed reading, like we mentioned before, practice speed reading techniques to enhance your reading efficiency. Set aside time once more each day to read and gradually increase your reading time, because the more you read, especially these motivational books, the better you become. Now, you can also have purposeful reading, whereby you define your goals before beginning to read a book. Ask yourself as you read the book or whichever information you're trying to read about. Ask yourself, what is my goal? What do I want to achieve by reading this book? So by having the goals beforehand, then you're reading with a purpose. You push yourself whether you have the time or not. Now, in chapter 12, it talks about limitless memory. So Jim Kwik explores techniques to enhance memory and retention, highlighting its importance for effective learning and personal growth. So his key points include understanding your memory. So Kwik explains the processes of encoding, of storage and retrieval, emphasizing that memory is a skill that can be improved with practice, because practice, as you know, really makes perfect. He talks about memory techniques, so he introduces methods such as using mnemonic devices, these are just using acronyms, visualizing, and the method of memory of loci, which is basically memory palace, to be able to aid the recall of information. He talks about chunking, whereby you break information into smaller chunks, making it easier to be able to remember. And he also emphasizes the fact of practice and repetition. So regular practice and spaced repetition are crucial for reinforcing memory and enhancing the long-term retention. Finally, he talks about emotional connection. So he says connecting information to emotions can improve recall, as emotionally charged memories are often more memorable. Yeah, so keep reading emotionally. Now, how do you apply chapter 12 in our lives? So according to Jim Kwik, we can have memory techniques, so we can incorporate devices, we can do the chunking, visualization into our daily life. For example, you can use a mnemonic to remember a shopping list or important dates. You can have a memory palace, whereby you create a memory palace for things you need to remember. For instance, visualize your home and associate different items you need to remember with specific locations in your home. So all these are going to help you with your memory. So basically, by integrating these techniques into your daily routine, you can enhance your motivation, your learning, your reading and memory skills. So this trick is start with small steps and gradually build these practices into your habits. Now, how have I applied the book in my life? So first and foremost, I can say that I really liked all the practical tools that Kwik introduced in this book. Now, as an individual, the chapter on overcoming limiting beliefs has transformed my approach to conflicts. I now understand that I can't control other people's happiness, and I need to just focus on my actions instead of their reactions. I've also learned to see mistakes as learning opportunities, which helps me manage frustration and accept challenges as part and parcel of life. Now, by accepting distractions during meditation, I've realized that it's normal for the mind to keep wandering, which has improved my concentration and ability to regain focus. Now, I apply similar strategies at work to minimize distractions and achieve a productive state of flow. Now, as a wife, I utilize memory techniques to remember important dates and details about my partner, strengthening our emotional bond. I'm also more engaged in shared learning activities like reading a book together or even taking an online course together. So I'm still working on this, but it is a work in progress. Now, as a mom, I model a love for learning by pursuing new skills, demonstrating the value of curiosity to my children. I also use memory techniques to make the studies more engaging through visualization and storytelling. I'm a teacher by profession, so as a teacher, I incorporate practical tools from the book to create interactive lessons that promote critical thinking and creativity. I emphasize the importance of mindset in learning, helping my students to view challenges as growth opportunities. Now, I'm also a student, so as a student, I've adopted speed reading. and memory techniques to improve my study, efficiency, and retention. I am motivated to use goal-setting strategies to create actionable plans for my academic and personal goals, regularly reviewing and adjusting them as needed. Now, in summary, I appreciated Jim Kwik's motivational model for its simplicity and how he distinguished between passion and purpose. His concept of small, simple steps resonated with me, helping to alleviate the mental tension from unfinished tasks, and I've begun using this approach more in my routine. Before reading this book, I had no prior knowledge about Jim Kwik, but the experience has been enjoyable, and I plan to read the book many more times to come. Now, I admire how he shares his memory improvement techniques openly, demonstrating a genuine desire to help others. Now, I highly recommend this book to students as it can significantly enhance their academic experience through its learning methods. Even lifelong learners will find it valuable due to its practicality and engaging writing style. Integrating these lessons can improve effectiveness in various roles and inspire those around you to adopt a limitless mindset. Now, my parting quote is, just remember, ladies, that a small, simple step is the tiniest action you can take to get you closer to your goal. Thank you so much for listening.
Teacher Ruth there, PhD student, you can get it. Woo, a powerhouse. Thank you so much for those amazing summaries of chapter 9 to 12. Yes. Wow, I can remember.
Yes.
Memory ignited. Thank you so much, Ruth, for that amazing presentation. Last but not least, my dear ladies and gentlemen, let's now go to our last speaker this evening, who is Wanjiku Mwangi. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our latest addition. She actually joined us this very season. She's not yet 3 months old. Wanjiku Mwangi is a purchasing officer working with a humanitarian organization based here in Nairobi. She has a vast experience in procurement of human, medical, pharmaceuticals, devices and equipment, coupled with a vast experience in procurement of veterinary, pharmaceuticals, devices, and equipment. Wanjiku is a mother of 3. Outside of work, Wanjiku loves sightseeing, exploring new adventures, traveling, learning new skills and reading, and she's a team player and a friend to everyone. I'm so proud of you, Wanjiku. Even just accepting this, really, you are breaking barriers. You know, most of the ladies, when they join the book club and I ask them to speak, they're like, no, I'm not ready. This is not my time. But look at you. Look at the growth you have had. Wanjiku, welcome.
Thank you very much, Coach Lois. I'm honored to be among such lovely igniters. Let me try and share.
Yes.
Coach, you can see my screen?
Not yet. You have not shared.
Okay.
Wow. Continue celebrating Ruth in the chat. She's done an amazing job. Wow. Yes, now we can see. Just
Okay.
project it now, make it larger.
Right.
Yes, good to go.
Okay, so I am a member of I Am Book Club. I joined it this year, season 18, and I'm honored to be amongst the pros. I was just listening and saying, wow, okay. I was introduced to Blue Waters coaching by a friend of mine called Gloria. I've seen her within the meeting today. Hi, Gloria. At the time that she introduced me, I met her during a fellowship of another group that we were in, and in fact, it was the last fellowship day. So the group was breaking that day, and she happened to give me a lift home. So I shared with her. I was going through a very difficult time in my life, and I was desiring a paradigm shift in my life. So God answers prayers in a very unique way, because Gloria listened to me. That was actually the first time we had spoken one-on-one. And she asked me if I like reading books, and I replied yes. And that's when she told me about I Am Book Club, and I told her I'm very interested in joining it. And she talked to Coach Lois, and Coach Lois actually reached out, which was good. And my life hasn't been the same again, because though I've been here just 2 months, the one book that we read in January really changed my life, because it's through reading it that I've now got the motivation of waking up very early to exercise, to read, to meditate consistently and on a daily basis. And immediately my life now seemed to start falling in place. Things that were stressing me fell off. The consistent migraines that I had started falling off, because I had time to actually sit and reflect, meditate, pray, and even exercise my body. So in a way, my body also got an opportunity of losing out, getting rid of the toxins that had been building up due to the stress buildup. So I really thank God for you, Coach Lois, and for Gloria having introduced me to you. So I'll begin my presentation. I want to start with with a wise quote written by Jim Kwik, the writer of the book. So he says, I am. Whatever you put after these two words determines your destiny. So since I began reading this book, I've been affirming and declaring that I am wonderful, I am limitless, I am beautiful, I'm God's own child. So whatever it is as an individual, as an ignited lady that you put after these two words, I am, are actually what will determine where you'll end up in life. What is the role of memory in our lives? I'll be summarizing from chapter 13, 15, and it majors a lot on memory. So memory governs our ability to reason, to calculate possible outcomes, and to serve as a resource to others. So what are the two types of memory? Jim Kwik talks about a trained memory and an untrained memory. So the secret of actually a good memory is attention. And attention to subject has made a deep impression on our minds. What can one do to improve their memory? You can do this by remembering the mnemonic device MOM. So this is quite simple. M stands for motivation, it's observation, and M is for methods. So there are quite a number of methods. I'll touch on a few. I'll highlight a few. Examples of method is like the Baker paradox. It's a paradox which illustrates for us that creating associations for ourselves is like to boost our memories dramatically. For example, if you're given a photo of a lady like the one shown herein, and you're told that she's called Miss Baker, chances of you forgetting her name are very high, because your memory is only linked to her face and she's a stranger. But if the same photo is presented to you and you're told that this lady's profession is a baker, instantly your mind will start creating images of her having a white hat and being surrounded by sweet-smelling loaves like the one you can see in the photo. So you'll not forget her. Yeah. So our mind is better placed to remember through images. Another method that one can use is turning a list of names that you need to recall into a story. Yeah. So this one requires you to be quite imaginative, but it works. So people who gain from this method are actors, Yeah, students and salespeople, especially when they're trying to sell out a product, they have to sound like they're the manufacturers of that product. Yeah. I would like to state another wise quotation. Imagination has a great potential to improve your memory. So it allows traveling beyond the horizon, attaching various stories or images to the things you wish to remember. And in turn, it will strengthen your memory. So I'd encourage each one of us to be imaginative people. Yeah. Because it will actually now make your memory get better and more limitless than it was. A third example, a third method that you can use to make your memory limitless is your active focus in memory. This concept requires you to take a more active approach to learning. It requires a lot of focus and skill. So the secret of a good memory is attention. Attention to a subject depends upon our interest upon it. Yeah. We rarely forget that which has made a deep impression on our minds. The fourth method is visualization. You can look at that photo that's on the right side. If you're to describe that photo to somebody on phone, most likely you'll tell them that the photo contains pink carnations, white carnations, yellow, and then it has a neatly manicured hedge. But depending on how imaginative that person is, they may not be able to reproduce the same photo in front of you in their mind. But if you were to give them this photo and to tell them to describe it, it becomes very easy for them. And the reason why this is so is because naturally we think in images. The same goes for when we dream. We do not dream in words. We dream in images. And every person who retells a dream tells it in images because the mind best remembers through images. Another method is association. For you to learn and memorize any piece of information, it must be associated with something you already know. Examples can be a song that reminds you of a special person. Yeah, that memory is an association. Or a smell that reminds you of a time in your childhood. That memory is an association. I would encourage you to practice this method, make associations consciously, so that you can be able to learn more effectively and to make your memory limitless. The sixth method is adding emotion. Adding emotion makes something quite memorable. And another way is location. When you associate something with a place, it makes it more memorable. So to have a great memory, practice using these 7 methods and see if you'll not attain the limitless memory. For sure you will. Personally, I've been trying to practice them consciously, and I'm already seeing a difference in terms of my remembering. How does one keep a big chunk of information in their memory? You can use the lossy method. This is a memory tool that aligns the things you want to remember with specific things, with specific points or places that you know well. So this is mainly used by somebody who is well knowledgeable about the topic you want to discuss. Maybe you have a speech that's going to be long and you're quite familiar with what you're going to discuss. So the lossy method is quite encouraged. I could give an example. Maybe I have a presentation to make at work concerning procurement. So I would apply it by coming up with an agenda of maybe 5 points. So these points, I'll attach each agenda point to something in a familiar place, let's say my house. So maybe the first point, I'll attach it to the main chair that's as I open the door. Yeah. Then the second agenda point, I'll point it to my study table. And then the third point, I'll point it to maybe the television. So what happens is that when I'll be doing my presentation, my mind will be able to picture back to the door, the seat, the study table, the lamp that I attached those main agenda points to. And I'll be able to trigger my memory and continue with the presentation without reading from any written script. Yeah. They can be able to comfortably give a presentation of up to 45 minutes using this lossy method. Which is the quickest way to remember vocabulary and language? Jim Kwik has given a good method, word substitution. This is a process of turning tangible information into an image that is more concrete and easy to visualize. So I've given an example of word subscription here. As you can see, nitrogen can be a night. So as you were trying to remember the word nitrogen, name it a night. The image that is there of a night is what will come to your mind. So the moment that you remember a night, you'll remember that the word that you were trying to actually remember was nitrogen. Another example is Monroe, can be a man rowing. So you make sure that you save in your mail. What the image that will come to your brain is a man rowing. So it will be very easy for you to remember Monroe. Another example is Armstrong. Yeah. Let your mind take in the word a strong arm. And the moment that image comes in, your mind will now substitute it and know that you actually want to refer to the word Armstrong. So by creating a picture of the word, you now have something more tangible, something you can see. We tend to remember that which we create. How does one remember everyone's name? Like, let's say tonight, I want to remember the names of everyone in this group. We can use the mnemonic be suave. So B is believe in yourself, that you're going to be able to remember all the names of the people in this group. Then the second one is exercise, remembering the names of the people in the group. Then S is say it. Yeah, say the name of that person or those people that you want to remember their names. U is use those names. Ask. It's all about asking the meaning of that name. Like now, maybe someone wants to know me more better or remember my name, can ask me, what does Wanjiko mean? And by me telling her the meaning, she'll be able to remember it in future. Visualization is visualizing a name of a person, yeah, and attributing an image to that name. It will help you remember. Like now, I can give an example of Coach Lois. Her being a coach is quite easy because I visualize her as a lecturer, yeah. So there's no way I can forget her name. It's easier for me to remember her that way. Then E is end. As you're ending the conversation with a person, ensure that you mention the name of the person. That way your mind now will be able to actually memorize that name and not forget it. So practice session this evening, I challenge each one of you to use the mnemonic be suave and just see how many names you'll recall of the people who are present in today's webinar. And a tip to help you remember better, check with your why. So why is it important to read? Reading is important because it's foundational to nearly all our learning. Leaders are readers. Yeah, the ability to read results in success in a person's life. Reading reduces stress. Reading exposes you to lives you'd never known before and experiences you had never imagined. I can just think, if I had not read this book, Limitless or Miracle Morning, I would have never known about the experiences, and I would have never known that I can be able to change my life to what it is currently. This happened only because I read those books. Reading strengthens your brain. It increases neural connections, improving cognitive function and memory. Reading can help you live longer. Reading improves vocabulary and communication. Reading fiction boost empathy. Reading activates multiple parts of the brain. Ebooks versus print books. While digital reading is convenient, studies show that reading physical books leads to better comprehension and retention. Reading before bedtime improves your sleep. Most of us are accustomed to looking at our WhatsApp messages, Telegram messages, going to Instagram, but I would encourage you to switch that to reading books just before you sleep. Reading enhances learning and emotional connection. So the brain does not distinguish between real and imagined experiences. When you read, your brain processes the events as if they were happening to you. So, my dear igniters, continue reading. You can download decades of experience by reading just one book. Personal challenge to you is set a daily reading goal, even if it's just 10 minutes a day. Be consistent and see the change that will take place in your life. So how does reading make your brain limitless? Reading kicks your brain into gear. It improves your memory, your focus, your vocabulary, your imagination, your understanding, just to name but a few. And what obstacles and barriers prevent us from reading more quickly? There's regression or back skipping. This is the time when you read a book and because you're really not focused, you keep repeating the paragraph or the sentence. So this actually delays your reading and even understanding. And then use of outdated skills and what we call subvocalization. Your reading speed is limited to your talking speed. Yeah, because when we started kindergarten, I remember, or nursery, you'd be told to read out loud the words. So in a way, there's a way that you hear an inner voice in your head. So we tend to read naturally at the speed of our talking speed, that's that talking voice inside your head. So we have to overcome all these barriers. And other things you need to overcome are the misconceptions of reading. The first myth is faster readers do not comprehend well. The second one is it is harder and takes more effort to read fast. That's a myth. And the third myth is faster readers cannot appreciate reading. That's quite fake because the faster you read, the more you comprehend and the more you appreciate because you're able to save time to do other things and even to read more books. How can a person increase their reading speed? The first one is using your finger as a visual pacer. I've practiced this this month and it's amazing. You can also exercise reading faster, just like any other exercise. The moment that you start reading faster, you'll get better. Day by day, week by week, month by month. Also by expanding your peripheral vision. This is the vision of what you can see at a given time. So make sure that you don't read a word at a time. Just make sure that you read a sentence, it's like a whole sentence at a time. So this will increase the rate of your reading. My personal challenge to each one of you is pick a book you've been wanting to read, set a timer for 10 minutes, put away the distractions and practice reading with a visual pacer. That's your finger. Schedule your reading time for each day. Put it in your calendar as an appointment with yourself so that there's no day that you're going to miss out on reading. So why is it important to think from a variety of perspectives? This is because it brings a fresh approach to resolving a problem. Albert Einstein theorizes, he says we can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking used when we created them. So Jim Kwik talks about 6 thinking hats, which is a concept that was devised by Dr. Edward de Bono as a tool for getting out of whatever rut of thinking one might be mired in. So it assists a person to separate thinking into 6 distinctly defined functions by progressively donning a series of metaphorical hats. So the first hat is a white one, which you put on when you're in information gathering mode. So for you to remember we said that we'll be remembering, for you to have a limitless memory, you need to put an image to everything that you think or you want to remember. So for the white hat, think of a white lab coat. Then the second hat is a yellow hat. You switch to a yellow hat to bring optimism to your thinking. For a yellow hat, think of the yellow sun. Yeah. The third one is a black hat, which helps you to pivot from looking at the good side of the challenge to facing its difficulties and pitfalls. For you to remember the black hat, think about a judge's robe. Yeah. Then the red hat, the fourth one, you put on a white, sorry, that should be red hat. You put on a red hat when you're sorry, I must have mixed up something there. The fourth hat is a red hat, and you think about it through thinking of a red hat, any hat ya moyo. The green hat is the fifth one, and you wear this when you're in the creativity mode. The memory tip of remembering it is you think of the green grass. And the final hat is a blue hat. You switch to a blue hat to be in the management mode and make sure you have addressed your agenda productively. So what to think about the blue hat, think of the blue skies. So you'll find when you attach these images to these hats, you'll be able to remember them without having to refer to any written part of it. So there are 8 distinct forms of intelligence. Due to time, I'll not explain each one, but I'll just mention them. So they were identified by Dr. Howard Gardner, a professor of cognition and education at Harvard Graduate School of Education. So the first form of intelligence is spatial. An example is an airline pilot. Then there's the bodily kinetics. An example is a gymnast. Musical intelligence. This one, like the example I gave, was a musical church music director. He has this kind of intelligence. Then there is the linguistic intelligence. William Shakespeare. When I think about his books, he possesses this. There's the logical mathematical. The best person I can give an example of is Albert Einstein. Then there's the interpersonal intelligence. Oprah Winfrey is the excellent example in that area. Then there's the intrapersonal intelligence. An example of this is a cool person under even difficult circumstances. Yani nothing shakes them or terrifies them. And the final type of intelligence is the naturalistic. An example is a landscape architect or a zoologist. Anyone who deals with nature has the naturalistic intelligence. So practice session, which kind of intelligence do you relate to out of the 8? Awareness of all 8 is a remarkably and effective way to unlimit your thinking. I would encourage each one of you to familiarize with them. So what is your learning style? For this, we have a mnemonic VAK. So V is for visual, A is auditory, and K is kinesthetic. Jim Kwik has given an exercise on the same in his book. And when I did it, I featured in the last one, K. Mental models. What are mental models? These are constructs for thinking that help you make sense of the world around you. So they help you train your mind to think. Some examples are the 40-70 rule mental model, which is used for decision making. Second one is create a not to-do list, which is used for productivity. And another one is study your errors mental model, which is used for problem solving. So now that we've been exposed to these models, I would encourage you to try using them. It will make your life much easier, and you don't need to go through needless pain or agony. So exponential thinking. As a limitless person, you ought to be able to think exponentially. So definition of exponential thinking is it involves adopting a mindset that embraces rapid nonlinear growth. It contrasts with linear thinking, which focuses on gradual additive progress. So there's a graph there which gives an example, a display of what it looks like. So you can see the incremental thinking is actually a straight line that increases with time. But for exponential thinking, it curves upward sharply. And how does this help you in your life? Yeah. The advantages of it is thinking exponentially makes a real difference to your school, your business, or your personal growth. It also makes you begin to see things from a different mindset. It makes you limitless. So in closing, I would like to encourage you to remember that knowledge times action is equals to power. And big things have small beginnings. Every pro was once an amateur. Every expert was once a beginner. Little by little becomes a lot. This really encouraged me. And when Coach Lois told me to speak, that was last week, but one I had really refused. But I think when I recalled this, I changed my mindset and said that even the experts that are there speaking also began somewhere. So I'll begin somewhere, which I have, and with time, I know I'll progress to where I would want to be. So lessons that I've learned from this book, the ones that have really stood out for me is speed reading. I've been able to improve my speed of reading. I'm working towards having a limitless memory in all the areas that I've shared in. And so far, I've introduced this book to my children, and the lessons learned inside there, I've tried to integrate it, to encourage them to integrate it in their lives so that they can be able to study better, memorize better, improve their grade. I've also introduced it to all my family members and close friends. And I've also encouraged them a lot to join the I Am Book Club. Having people that you can be accountable to is quite revolutionary because it brings a sense of discipline in your life like no other. And with that, I say thank you to all of you.
Amazing, amazing, Wanjiku. I can't believe you are 37 slides and you are telling me that you are limited. You are limitless. Thank you so much. Let's celebrate Wanjiku for taking the mantle of being a limitless speaker. Now you will be speaking throughout. Thank you so much. Let's celebrate her. Congratulations, Wanjiku. I'm very proud of you. Proud that you said no to limitations and you said yes to possibilities.
Thank you, Coach.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. What an evening, ladies. What an evening of becoming limitless. We've had amazing, amazing conversations, and it all centered on your greatest asset, and that is God-given in between your ears, your brain. That is your greatest asset. So you realize it's not about your circumstances or your titles or your job. What you have, God-given, is your brain. So now we have learned how to ignite possibilities using our brain. So use it to unlock your potential. Welcome to the I Am Leading Book Club. Let's read together. Let's ignite new possibilities. Break forth and be limitless. Don't stay where limitations are. You are born to be free. So it has been amazing having these conversations with you. And you've heard the ladies here talking about the offerings that Blue Waters Coaching have. And I've tried now just to layer them for you so that you can understand. Our bronze offering usually has the I'm Leading Book Club, like season 19. This is coming forth from April to June, season 19. These are courses and programs that are most of the time less than 10K. Rich and Royal, Ladies Up Abundant Club, The Confidence Blueprint, Visioneering, Money Blueprint, Wellness with Coach Lois Spa Retreats. Then we have the silver offering, and you've heard like Sarah talking about it, Unleash the She Leader, Abundant Woman. We have Laws of Growth. We have the She Speaks to Inspire and Impact. And then we also have the Manifestation Queen, which is a one-to-one coaching. And as you move up the ladder, you come now to our gold offering. And this season, based on my book, Ignite, I have launched the program Leadership Gold. I already have maybe like 9 or 10 ladies in there who are doing Leadership Gold. These are courses now above like 50,000 and above. Then we have the Ignited Limitless Millionaire that will be launched later. We have the Ignited International Safari. We have launched that with Leadership Gold. This year, we are going to Malaysia and Singapore. We also have transformational leadership retreats that we usually just choose a place where to go to anchor these lessons. So what am I saying? There's so much for all of us. And we have the YouTube. Kindly subscribe to the Blue Waters Coaching Inspirations YouTube. Too much information there for your growth. We are saying invest in yourself for you to become limitless. And I invite you to Q2, April to June, where we'll be having the book club. April, May, June, we'll have Rich and Royal 2025 edition. Let's come and learn how to save, invest, and cheer one another. It's the same concept we have in the book club. We have it in Rich and Royal. We have the Manifestation Queen one-to-one coaching. That one is usually there because there are some people who don't like groups. They want to learn on their own and they want coaching, having those provoking conversations that take you to the next level. We have this new quarter, Laws of Growth, 10 weeks program. We have She Speaks to Inspire and Impact. When she opens her mouth, she just inspires and impacts. That's an amazing course. And of course, last year we did the Money Blueprint in the National Park. We don't know what will happen this year. Welcome to new possibilities as we come to the end of our conversation this evening. I'm here to tell you that your limitless journey has begun. It is time. It is time that you step out completely from that small voice that tells you you're not enough. I can't afford. That is meant for others and not me. Notice that small voice and say, no, 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 I am stepping out. Then once you step out, now you have the space and the abundance to step up. And obviously, when you step up, definitely you stand out as a limitless, ignited, abundant she leader. Thank you so much for being here. And even I'm seeing we are still 26. We have really maintained the numbers. Thank you so much. We'll have the recording. Those who are, I think there were some requests, people who had left earlier going for classes and such. We'll have the recording. We usually have it on YouTube. If you subscribe to YouTube, anytime it is posted, you will always find it there. That is your Abba for you to have all that knowledge in one place. Share the YouTube with your friends. Those who are not understanding 1, 2, 3, share the YouTube channel. They'll be able to learn so much. Thank you for your comments. I'm seeing all of them, and I am so, so happy to have this beautiful feedback. Wow, can you imagine it from 6:40 and now 8:40 again? How many hours are those of pure bliss as we learned together? Thank you so much. I want to bid you bye-bye. Have a good night. Tomorrow, those in season 18, remember we start my book, Ignite. We started today, so tomorrow I will guide you on how we shall proceed for this week. I'll first check where we have reached, whether we are ready to start it all or we'll start pole. We are ignited. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. God bless you. Bye-bye.